Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to today's session. How are you doing? I pray that all is well with you and your families at this time. So we're continuing with our Purushotam Maas challenge, and today we are halfway. Today is day number 15, so we're halfway. Well done. You've made it halfway with your vrat, which whatever you've chosen to offer to the Lord with love and devotion. That's so wonderful. So we're very proud of you that you made it halfway. And we got halfway more to go. And in the Bhagavad Gita, we're on chapter 15 and we are on text number 14. So there's only 20 verses in this chapter. So we only have 6 verses left in this chapter. And thereafter we have a very beautiful discussion that we're going to have for the remaining days of the Purushotam Maas. So look forward to that. So for today, we've been discussing how the Supreme Lord Purushottam is so kind, is so merciful, that He's the light of the sun and the moon. And from that we've been discussing how He gives light to all this universe. He holds the universes together. From that light and heat we get fire, and from fire He gives us opportunity to cook our own food and to maintain the factories and all of that. And we see how by His mercy everything is happening for our benefit and for our provision. Now in today's verse we're hearing about inside the body. So all we've been hearing about so far is outside the body. How He's providing and maintaining for us, the supreme maintainer, Purushottama. So now we're going to read how He's maintaining us inside the body as well. And today we're going to read and hear about the fire of digestion. So today's verse, Bhagavad Gita 15.14. Aham visvanaro bhutva praninam deha ashritaha pranapana samayukta pachanyanam chaturvidham. Translation: I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of fire outgoing and incoming to digest the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. So let's go over the translation carefully. Translation: I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities. So we see, according to Ayurveda, the stomach is the root main organ for energy within the body and disease as well. As soon as there's something wrong with digestion, that's immediately some disease will come through that, imbalance. Remember, the body works with homeostasis, a balance of the body. And Ayurveda is a medical system based from the Vedas and based on balance of the doshas, Kapha, Pitta and Vata. So the balance of these 3 doshas then creates balance and harmony within the body. But it's all based on the stomach. And why is it based on the stomach? Because Visvanaro, because within the stomach there is a fire. And we know that our body, if there's no fire in the body, how is heat generated? There must be some form of diffusion. Otherwise, how is heat generated? So we see that our body is maintained at 30 degrees Celsius. And as soon as that goes a little higher, then there's a problem, fever. And as soon as it goes a little lower, then there's a problem. So what is maintaining that balance? And how is if there's heat coming from the body, as we know, then there must be fire within the body. So where is the source of that fire? It's coming from the stomach. And within the stomach is this digestive aspect of Krishna. So He's not only providing all the nutrition that we need in the form of food and plants and all of that, Plus he gives the taste in plants, the taste in vegetables we're hearing yesterday. Now we're hearing he also digests your food in the stomach. Visvanaro. Aham Visvanaro Bhutva. He also digests the food in the stomach. Krishna is saying, I am that digestion agent. So Prabhupada goes on here in the translation. With the air of life outgoing and incoming to digest the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. So the different elements of nature that is required, together with that, this fire then gets fueled. And we know when it's burning full, we get pain, and that pain we interpret it as hunger. So we get hungry, and that's a good sign, because then that means the fire is working well. If the fire is working well, that means the digestion will be good. So therefore, even with Prabhupada, he would eat exactly at the same time every day. That's, if you want good health, one of the things that you must do is to eat on time. If you eat on time, then your digestion will be good and your body will be nourished well. So Prabhupada says in the purport here, according to Ayurvedic Shastra, we understand that there is a fire in the stomach which digests all food sent there. I like Prabhupada's English here, all food sent there. So any food that's sent there in the stomach is digested by this fire. And this is coming in Ayurvedic Shastra. Prabhupada goes on to say, when the fire is not blazing, there is no hunger. And when the fire is in order, we become hungry. So this hunger agent is very, very important. This is the first thing a Kaviraj, Ayurvedic doctor will ask you, what are you eating? What is your digestion like? So he can figure out at least starting point. Where is the disease? Then he'll check your pulse. And from the pulse, he'll also interpret. There's almost 108 different pulse beats. So an expert Kaviraj just feels your pulse. And in India, there are a few left like that. I know there was one in Vrindavan like that. So you just check your pulse and he'll tell you immediately, this is what's happening in your body because of the irregular pulse beat. And he can even tell you when you're going to die. That's how expert they are. So according to this, if the hunger is good, hunger is bad, that's a sign of your health. So Prabhupada goes on to say, sometimes when the fire is not going nicely, treatment is required. In any case, this fire is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this fire in the stomach, this is the Jataragni, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's an expression of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here's another thing we can use to remember. Whenever we're feeling hungry, we can remember, oh, Krishna is wanting his bhoga offering now. So we know how many times we feel hungry. Ooh. So each time there's a hunger, we can remember, this is Krishna. So you see how many things we forget that we can remember. That all of this is connected to Krishna. All of this is Krishna. The light of the sun, the light of the moon, the fire. And now we can see even the stomach, hunger. So hunger won't be the same for you anymore. As soon as you feel hunger, you go, oh, Krishna is calling for his bhoga offering. And that way you can remember Krishna. Very nice way, isn't it? Very easy, nice way. Prabhupada goes on to say, Vedic mantras, Brihat Aranika Upanishad 591, also confirms that the Supreme Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach and is digesting all kinds of foodstuffs. Ayam Agnir Visvanaro Yoyam Anantaha Puruse Yenindanananam Pachyate. Therefore, since he is helping the digestion of all kinds of foodstuff, the living entity is not independent in the eating process. So we can see this whole eating process, we are expert at it, and we really don't realize how active Krishna is in providing, not only providing, but also digesting the food for us. So how much part of our lives is Krishna, and yet we're totally oblivious of this. So he helps us arrange the food, to get the food, cook the food by the fire, then eat the food, enjoy the taste of the food by the moon, and now digest the food by Visvanara. So look at how much part of our lives, of the eating process, is Krishna active. So if we can remember this, the point is, if by remembering this, then we can become aware of Krishna in our lives, Smaranam. And by doing that, in every part of our life, we'll see Krishna is present. In that way, you can see the Lord. You can see God in every part of your life. Prabhupada goes on to say, unless the Supreme Lord helps him in digesting, there is no possibility of eating. So if he doesn't digest your food, you may have tasted it. Once it goes past your throat, do you know what happens? Next thing you know, you're getting a knock, it's coming out the other door. So what happened from the time it left your mouth till the time it comes out? You have no idea. The whole digestive process that completely Krishna is doing. So who is serving who at the end of the day? Who is serving who? We call ourselves a servant of Krishna, but if we look carefully, he is serving us as much as we are trying to serve him. This is love. This is devotion. It's reciprocal. Unless we see these things, we're never going to realize how Krishna is actually also part of our lives and serving us as well. Prabhupada goes on to say, he thus produces and digests foodstuffs, and by his grace, we are enjoying life. So don't you think if by his grace we are enjoying life like this, we should be grateful to him, acknowledge him for that? So these are basic logical points in which to see God in your life. Can you do the digestion process? You can't do it, so somebody is doing it for you. If somebody is doing it, don't you think you should be grateful to him for that? So even just the fact that you have good health, that alone means the Lord is taking care of you. That alone tells you Krishna is taking care of you. He's starting by taking care of your health. Then he goes on to take care of your needs, necessities of life. Then he takes care of your mind, enjoyment. So every part of your life. So how can somebody say there is no God? How can somebody say that no, Krishna is no such thing as God? So for a devotee, Krishna is part of his life every moment. Prabhupada goes on to say, in the Vedanta Sutra 1.2.27, this is also confirmed. Shabdha diyo ananta pratishta nakcha. The Lord is situated within sound and within the body, within the air and even within the stomach as the digestive force. There are 4 kinds of foodstuff. Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked up, and some are sucked. And he is the digestive force for all of them. So we know when we do the samsara prayers in the morning, then we sing this one verse comes there. Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasado Swadhana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangam Kritveva Triptin Bhajatasya Deva Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. So in that verse is describing how the spiritual master is offering these 4 kinds of eatables to the Lord. Is offering the food that is chewed, drunk, licked, sucked. these 4 kinds of foodstuffs and is offering it to the Lord. So we can see these different kinds of foodstuffs that we take, and all of them are being digested by the fire. Visvanara. That's why Krishna is saying here, Aham Visvanaro Bhutva. In the bodies of all living entities, I am the digestive force within the stomach. So we can see how much Krishna is part of our lives, and yet we don't know anything about him. So even by logic, you don't need to be a devotee to see this. Just by reading this by logic, you can see if I'm not doing it, who is doing it? I'm not digesting my food, who is digesting it? Something is digesting it. What is doing that? And it's beyond me. So if it's not under my control, that means who is controlling it? Somebody is, and that is Krishna. So he's so much part of our lives. If we can just start to see this, then our smaranam, our remembrance of him, become deeper and sweeter. Sweeter, we'll start to see Krishna is doing so much for me. I thought I was Krishna Das, Krishna's servant, but it seems like he's serving me more than anything else. So I hope you enjoyed our class today. Please join us again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.